Alright, just a regular video of some kind. Anyway, I'll probably label these something like regular, or whatever, just so you know when I'm trying harder. So it's just a regular response video. Some guy, MrHerrIQarthur or something. Depressed Inmendham, racist, Skyrim, whatever, blah blah blah. So he's one of these white guys, for the white race thing. Yay, dachshunds, you know. So that's sort of how I look at it. Let's just change the races into breeds of dog, and we're all just sitting here playing some subjective, I like my kind of dog, bullshit. And some of that, okay, fine. It's fine for you to like your own kind and all that kind of bullshit. And but this whole idea that I gotta preserve it, it's gotta stay on the human. We can't lose the dachshund race. We can't let it get polluted. By the whatever, the other stuff. It's just whatever. If that floats your boat, whatever. I don't know what to say. I mean, it just seems immature psychologically, mentally, to be worried about this, what color fur you have, kind of bullshit. But if that's how you want to play life, what can I say? I think you're making a mistake. I think you're not realizing that it's not important. But the important part is the social dynamic, and the fact that some of this race stuff does have a social dynamic because of idiots like you. Yes, and of course there's black people that are idiots like you. It's no surprise that there's certainly black people who are racist. That doesn't nullify or undo the circumstances, nor does it undo the fact that you get what you get. I mean, if you're not going to preserve your society, then you're not. Your culture even. And America has decided to do this melting pot thing in some sort of honest way. But yeah, obviously we know it's dishonest. It's just rich people trying to drive down wages, and that's all it is about, the whole immigration thing. But it has this impact where it's going to change your appearance over time. It's going to dilute your race. Your cultural stagnation is going to be disrupted. Yeah, so what? I mean, you want to sit there and deliberately try to outbreed all the other dogs and stuff. And but your real agenda is the separatism stuff, and that's where it all goes really south, because it's too late for that. Number one, in the case of places like America, yeah, it's game over. We so to speak, we stole this place from whatever, the sheepdogs, whatever you want to call the Indians, and wiped them out, genocided them. Pretty much, all the good ones are dead. Little muddy ones left behind. Anyway, and just because you had the might makes right thing, you had bigger, more sophisticated weapons because you came from a place where you had diseases that would kill everybody when you showed up, and you did this domestication of animal thing, and you took advantage. And so yeah, you had a few little advantages, and you took advantage. Alright, that's your history, that's your legacy. And then part of that legacy is you drag people over here to be slaves, and you expect them to correct your mistake. And that's just bullshit. But I mean, the social dynamic of minority status is a social dynamic. It's not about minority status as a race. It's not about any of that crap. It's about a society and what the consequences of the nepotistic nature of us is. And our nepotistic nature is totally hostile to civilization, and you don't accept that. That's why you're apparently going to argue inheritance or something eventually, and we'll get to that, I guess. Because yeah, you're all caught up with this me thing, me, and that's just a bad wheel in your fucking head, buddy, dude. Yeah, get over it, dude. You just ain't getting with the program. You ain't getting with the game we're playing here. And in the big picture, the bullshit you're caught up with is bullshit. So anyway, what we know that the dynamic is that people were discriminated against, and that over time, because of your affection for legacy, because you don't want to earn it every generation, you don't want a fair fight, you've disadvantaged these minorities who exist in your country because they don't have that legacy. They don't have Rothschild wealth to live on or plantation money to live on. So you've cheated at the game, and then you're going to complain that reasonably you got to pay a little bit of a price for that, and you don't want to pay it. And so that's it. You just don't want to pay your bills, frankly. And even if they were paid, even if there was even if we could say it didn't matter anymore, which I don't think we can say, even with women, if we took it all away and said, okay, well, we'll give you what you want, pussy. You don't want a fair fight, you want to cheat. It doesn't matter, because you're going to drive it all into the toilet eventually anyway. Because your attitude and your approach is caustic and toxic to what it takes to have civilization. And what it takes to have civilization is just a little bit of reasonable tolerance. And you just can't do that. You can't express that little bit. And you can't give that little bit. And, you don't want to earn it. You don't want to persuade people of a better way to live. You don't want to prove that your culture is more functional, or your ideas are more functional. You just want to impose it. And you want to do it through this idiotic segregation plan that somehow you think is going to solve the problem. You think if we build more fences and more borders and more reason to be pissed off at each other, that you're going to make the world a better place. So you're just a colossal fail. And you ought to just get with the real deal, which is, look, we're all just flatworms. Who the fuck cares what color the flatworm is? You're so stupid and ignorant to think this bullshit matters. I mean, I'd be pretty damn pissed off if my father told me the reason he had me was he wanted me to win the race war. I mean, if that was his justification, yeah, I think I'd whack him first. So, anyway, I'll be back when this guy, I don't know, he's going on for 2 hours, and he's, just keeps whining about immigration like that's the subject of racism, and it isn't. It's a different subject. And that, because other people are discriminatory or treat people unfairly, somehow he has a right to. And that's just bullshit. So he can't win he's not right on any of these subjects. He just points to something else that's wrong and say, because they're a crook, I can be a crook. Because they're an asshole, I can be an asshole. I mean, it's just bullshit. So anyway, be back. Alright, we're up to 27 minutes of this. Oy, it's a little difficult. Anyway, so he thinks I look like a creep. Meth head. One of the white stereotypes. Long hair's, he can't deal with long hair. Talk about somebody just glued to conventions. Anyway, so then he basically just says, yeah, I agree with a lot what he says, and I agree with a lot what he says, and so he's agreeing, he's getting some of it. But then he just blows it all because he goes back to some sort of stance that I don't have, which is all people are exactly the same, which I've never said. Whether there's racial differences or not, who really cares? They're not significant differences, and they're certainly not differences that allow you to generalize about other people. It's not fair to do that. I don't want to be blamed because most white people are snotty, obnoxious motherfucking cunts. I don't want to be blamed for that. Don't assume me a snotty motherfucking asshole. So again, if my whole family was snotty, obnoxious assholes, I don't want to be treated like I was one of them. Alright? That's the idea of treating a person based on the content of their character, not their class, not their anything else. That the character of the individual should be the only thing that determines how you treat them. That's the ideal. And that we shouldn't be going around profiling people. It's just not nice. It's not civilized. It's not fair. That's all. It's not complicated. You can hate black people all you want. You can dislike them. But it's just when one's coming up to you, you can't assume things about it. It's just not fair to do that. Let it open its mouth. Let it make a fist. You know, measure the bulge in its pants. This guy's obsessed with the dick thing. Yeah, I mean, look, you can go back to Kinsey, okay? I mean, you know, blacks have bigger dicks, facile, okay, for sure. Alright, and then, you know, erect penis size, yeah, okay, it gets about, it evens out. Kinsey still give blacks a little bit of a, you know, they win by a nose, they win by a dick, you know, but who cares, alright? It just, obviously people go by the silliest things anyway, so who cares, right? Does it really matter? No. So, you know, and so you want bragging rights on your IQ on the same kind of irrelevant percentages. Oh, it's a little bit better in statistical surveys because, yeah, most blacks grow up in cardboard boxes. So they're not going to have, their IQ isn't going to have much chance of being developed. And it is developed. Let's not pretend there isn't a developmental impact on IQ, because there is. But again, even if there was a genetic difference, a starting point difference, generically, it's not universal. Therefore, you can't use it to judge the entire class or any individual in the class. And that's not a complex concept. Be fair, buddy. Okay? Just be fair to people. Why do you have to judge them by a class? Why do you have to react? It's just wrong to do that. Wait till they prove themselves. You just can't, you know, I mean, I understand living as a paranoid lunatic probably makes some sense. Alright, if you're really, really, really horny for your existence and all that kind of crap, and you're just totally self-involved. But it's a practical matter. You have to know that if everybody acts like a paranoid lunatic, you're all going to end up shooting each other. It just isn't going to work. Damn. So anyway. But yeah, you put those words in my mouth. I've never said that all people are exactly the same. What I said is their sentience is the same. Our sentience is not that much different than a chimpanzee's sentience. They have the emotions. They feel shame. They feel grief. They feel horror. They feel sad. They feel all that kind of stuff, and they feel it in buckets and buckets. Incredibly emotional animals, and it's our emotions that define the qualitative experience. That's the thing that we're living for, is the emotional feelings, the splendor of the victory, you know, and the tragedy of the failure. These are our swings. This is the pendulum we're riding. All right, your intellectualism is nice, but that's a gift to society, not to you. You shouldn't be using your intelligence to scheme for your own welfare anyway. Okay, it's the whole chess game. It's all the pieces on the board, or what your brain should be working for. Let's have as little blood and guts and crap. Let's have constructive competition, constructive rules. So yeah, let's create consent. Yeah, which we can't do, but at least give the right to suicide, and you know, create constructive rules. No rule should exist that isn't constructive to the play. It makes the game a better game, and you know, that's going to have fairness written all over it, and it's going to have the idea that there's no point in making this a blood war. We can improve each other without killing each other. We can improve each other without killing each other. We can improve each other without killing each other. Yeah. Anyway. More to come, unfortunately. Creepy. Creepy, 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 creepy. Yeah, it wasn't a great hair day. I admit it. It's rough here, damn it. I mean, I'm always, you know, life is tough. I mean, I don't need to be on meth to realize that, okay? Just taking it real, okay, is you know, a toxic experience to my sensibilities. To, you know, this ain't some fucking joyride I'm on, that's for sure, fucker. And putting those words in my mouth don't make it any more pleasurable. Anyway, moving on. Until next time. Blah, 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 blah. Alright, so back to this guy again. I guess maybe we'll go to some of these time codes here. Just to play some of this, the inheritance stuff, just because he's just so deluded. You know, just so deluded in how the economy works. You know, it's just, you know, people just, they are just full of crap. So, no, you know, let me just, so he calls me a communist. You know, yeah, I'd rather be called something like a fairnessist. You know, waiting on the electrician, so we'll have to go if he shows up. You know, or incentivist. I mean, I call my economics channel Fair Economics. I'm for incentives. I've pretty much pointed out that I'm not for paying people to have kids recklessly, so I'd impose responsibility on welfare. You'd have to act to a minimum standard of responsibility. You know, so, you know, it's just silly. But you want to use the rhetoric, go ahead, use the rhetoric. You know, you think I'm walking like that duck? That's fine. I don't think it's fair at all, but that's just part of your whole generalization bullshit, right? You don't want to take people as they are. You want to sit there and saddle them with other people's agenda. So I'll just call you a murderer, right? You're no better than a religious nut who kills an abortion doctor, or a white guy who shoots a black man because he's black. Alright, so we'll just put you in a category, fuckhead. Anyway, but it doesn't matter. The point is that the subject is more important, and so he just makes these convoluted, silly arguments that somehow this 3% of the people who have these millions of dollars are critical to our economy. If we don't have them, our whole economy just crashes, because the rich people, you know, the Bobbsey twins and the sons of the Kevorkians or the Javorkians or whatever the fuck their name is, if we don't have those little dumb bimbos running around with millions of dollars, we're all just going to financially collapse. We're not going to be able to do anything technologically. It's not the workers who produce the value. It's not the engineers who produce the value. No, it's the rich people. They're really doing all the work, and it's the silly poor workers who are just dumb little fuckers stealing the rich man's money. I mean, it's just so illogical. The Dow Jones is not owned by self-made men, okay? It's owned by cunts and sluts and pigs and dicks and dorks and douchebags who never did a day's work in their life and haven't earned anything and don't have high IQs and brilliant minds or any of that bullshit. They're just selfish, greedy whores who invest in companies that behave like selfish, greedy whores. And you're just so fucking stupid to think those 3%, those little cunts, that 1% is giving us any value to society. That just makes you such a dumb sucker. I mean, have you ever fallen for the big lie? I mean, man. Silly. Just absolutely silly. So, yeah, I mean, just ironic things he says about, you know, he's like, no one will want to go start a business. Well, if they're starting a business, they don't have $1 million yet, so they don't have $1 million to give their kid yet, so they still have incentive. So you can't make that argument. And then if you have $1 million inheritance, the only people he's saying I'm disincentivizing are people who have $1 million to already give their kid. And as soon as they have $1 million saved up to give to their kid, they'll all stop working because they don't have any personal ambition to get more than $1 million. So if they don't have any personal ambition to have more than $1 million, why do they think their kids need more than $1 million? You get the logic, right? Why does the kid need more money than the father wanted to make? Does that make any sense? The father stopped wanting to make money, okay, once he hit $1 million. So why would the kids want to have more than $1 million? See, your argument is idiotic. Go ask the billionaires and they'll tell you they would have done it no matter how many kids they had or how few kids they had. Some of these people don't have any kids, okay? Some of the richest men in the world have fathered no kids. So this is just crap as an argument. Absolute crap as an argument, all right? And these are incentive carrots. You also think money grows on a tree or that rich people fart it. Like rich people, they eat crap and they shit money. And that's what you think's going on in the world. And you're just so fucking stupid. No, workers make all the value. And if you're not giving the carrots to the Bobbsey twins or the slut whores or the cunt bastards, then you can give the money to the workers. And you can incentivize the workers to work harder. See how it works? They're incentive carrots. An economy only has so much value to put in front of us to work. And you're saying it makes sense to put 97% of the value in front of 1% of the people. And you're just so goddamn stupid to think they're the good horses. They're the shittiest horses on the damn field. They're the laziest, uselessest, stupidest dumbasses there are. Oh, God. Anyway, just so damn ignorant. But he's a racist. What am I expecting from a fucking racist? Well, a racist who thinks he needs laws to protect his racist views. Preserve my poor little genetic history. And do it by force. Force all the dumb sluts to fuck the right man. Segregate us so the dumb sluts in our country can't fuck any of those other puppies. He wants to force people not to have interracial sex by segregating them. Oy. And call him a freedom fighter or something? Oh, sorry, fella. No sale again. You missed it again. Logic has failed you again.
So, what I guess I'm trying to convey is, or say here is that if you know that you're not allowed to accumulate wealth for your children and your grandchildren, your genetic descendants, which you view as an extension of yourself, so you have an incentive to invest in your genetic future carrier.
Well, that makes you an idiot right off the bat anyway, right? So that's the irony here. He's saying these rich people are super smart. That's why they're rich, right? They inherit it, and that makes them super smart because they fell out of the super smart vagina. And the man made the money, but the woman's the one who had the babies, and the woman probably didn't do much genetically, did she? Was the woman genetically accomplished, the trophy wife? Genetics that are now 50% of the child, now diluting the child by 50%, the fucking waitress genetics. You see where your argument just falls apart entirely. Yeah. I mean, damn stupid.
If you're not allowed to have that incentive, then why are you going to work?
Like I said, you have this delusion that most of the wealth of the world is in the hands of working people. That's what you think the rich do. The owners, the landlords, are workers. That's how you view the world. This tiny little 1% of the world that has over $1 million, or, well, 3% that has over $1 million in savings, let's say. You think they do all the work. Huh? Shit.
Well above and beyond the age of 40 or 50 or 60, you wouldn't. You would just work.
Right, that explains nothing, right? I mean, Bill Gates has already said he's giving away his money. The other rich guy is giving away his money. They say, the foundations, which are bullshit anyway, but let's not ignore that part. I mean, look, a ton of these rich people, okay, have already acknowledged, the ones who really made it, right? The ones who made a huge fortune. You got a fortune, like Ted, that stupid guy in New York, right? Funny hair guy. He got $10 million on his 17th birthday or whatever. And he turned it into $1 billion, which wasn't hard to do, actually, New York real estate. But anyway, the fact is that he'd still be doing it all the same. He wouldn't have changed anything. Kids were a distraction for him, if anything. Took time away from his work. And that's why he got divorced, is because he didn't have any time for the family. So you're not even getting it. These guys don't give a rat's ass about their fucking family or their goddamn kids. Silly person. They give a damn about statues built to them. I mean, they want to have statues, literally. They want a statue with a fountain around it that says Donald Trump was so cool. That's what they're horny for. They want to win an Oscar. They want it all. They're ego driven. And you're just an idiot to think they're just going to lie around, do nothing. No, they're going to fight in the war because they have a huge advantage, and it's fun when you got all the guns. When you got all the guns and you can shoot everybody else to shit, it's fun, asshole. You know, play one of them trash New York video games or something. It's fun to blow shit up, shithead. I just can't believe it. Well, I can believe you're this stupid, but it's disappointing that you're this stupid because you're actually saying I am making sense at certain points, and I have to, you know, I have to wonder, well, maybe I got to fix myself if this asshole thinks I'm actually speaking some kind of consistent logic because he can't understand that the richest 3% of the world's population is not productive. He can't understand that owning isn't working. Fuck.
Enough and make enough wealth around the age of 25 to 35 and never invest more time in the company again.
Yeah, well, and if they don't, somebody else will, right? Somebody else who still wants it. Somebody who still wants the $1 million will take over then. They'll be incentivized and fully engaged. There's plenty of people willing to do the work of being the rich guy, of being the owner. Lots of people want that job, jerk. All right? And if you lower the prices, you know, by getting rid of all this fucking excess wealth, by all these claims, these IOUs, these claims to ownership, by getting rid of them, it means that people with a real job, that means that somebody who's working as an engineer for 10 years at IBM or something, he could actually save enough money to buy himself a business, to actually get into business. But the price tag is so high because there's so much surplus money bidding it up. What do you think the stock market is? What do you think the stock market does? The stock market turns a company like Google into $556 billion. You think you could buy Google? No fucking way. Not on the stock market, not when you have to compete with a bunch of inherited money. But as a business, you should be able to get into business. You should be able to compete. And we have a much more competitive game if it's run by people who have modest ambitions rather than expect and feel entitled to it. They don't work for it and they feel entitled. What the fuck is that? Shoot those fuckers.
You would just let that company go. At least I would. If I had...
I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Yeah, I really don't. I don't believe you could get... You earn an extra $1 million. You got $1 million in the bank and you got one kid. And you just quit working. You just say, that's all I want. I don't want anything more. I don't want a yacht for myself. I don't want a summer home on the beach. I don't want this. I don't want that. Yeah, bullshit. It's absolute bullshit.
The company. And I knew that when I'm 45 or 55, there's really no point in...
Right, and let's say the company's even named after you, right? Let's say the company actually has your name in it. You're going to tell me you don't care if it goes bankrupt. You don't care what happens. I got my money. I don't care. Yeah, bullshit.
In working anymore, because the money that I'm accumulating, the time I'm spending in my company and the money that I get from it...
Well, again, you keep talking about all this time spent in the company. No. The managers spend time at work, okay? The employees spend time at work. Okay, the owners don't spend time at work. So just keep deluding yourself. You're talking about between 3 and 1% of the human race, and you're saying to me that they're doing all the work. They're doing all the inventing. You're saying Bill Gates invented Windows. Is that your idea of how the world works? He invented it? You know, no, sorry. You know, Steve Jobs did all the programming for Apple. He did all the programs. He wrote the operating system. That's how you think the world works, fuckhead? Think it was the employees' idea to make it all proprietary so we could all rip the world off? No, I think that the only contribution these assholes make, these rich fuckers make, is writing small print and catches and loopholes. Catch 22. That's what these rich bastards do to the world. They create a bunch of catch 22s to fuck the world over with. And you're just such an asshole to defend those cunts as being anything but destructive to our lives. I'm giving you a guarantee. You couldn't make a computer model. You couldn't make anything. If I just made the rich people, the top 3%, disappear off the face of the earth today, if they all just disappeared, evaporated, there'd be about 2 hours of chaos, and everybody be getting right back to work, and everybody be 100 times richer. Everybody's income would now be double. Everybody's lifestyle would be worth twice as much. Everybody's work would be worth twice as much. they'd be twice as fucking rich, at least twice as rich. And you'd never miss the contribution of the fucking owners. The fucking lazy-ass Rothschild money that's been roaming around the earth for 500 fucking years. I mean, you're just such a deluded putz. Oh. Anyway, do I need to go for any further? 36, it says. Yeah, I should go to 36.
It's not going to go to my children, then what's the point in staying in the company? What's the point in creating a legacy for my children? Because I can't create a legacy for my children. What's the point in producing create an efficient system in producing quality products? What's the
Well, like I said, the richest man in the world doesn't have that problem.
point anymore? Where I might just as well, in my younger years, 25 to 35, create enough wealth just to, go on vacations and
Yeah, just to prove how great your genetics is, you have to cheat. I mean, it's just such a lame argument. My kids need to cheat because they can't prove themselves better. They can't earn it like I did. They can't prove that they're better players of the game. They have to have a huge, giant cheat, to beat the old black man, right? They can't beat the black man unless they have a huge, giant $1 million cheat. Yeah. The black man who grew up in a slum in a cardboard box, and you can't better him without a $1 million cheat, well then your fucking kids suck.
not have children and save money that way, not have children, and just, have a...
Well, it's not even $1 million cheat, right? I'm giving you the $1 million. So I'm saying, go ahead, take $1 million. You're saying your kids need more than $1 million. They can't win if they don't have more than $1 million. So don't give them more than $1 million head start on Darky. Your kids can't make it. Oh, God, you're pathetic.
a couple of millions and just live a decent life until I'm old and die of age. I don't know if I'm conveying my thoughts.
No, your thoughts are clear. You're a cheater. That's simple. You like cheating. You want your kids to cheat because they're weak pansy asses who can't play a fair game. Yeah, I get it. It's pretty fucking clear. You're afraid of the competition. Yeah, you'll never be a millionaire, right? Yeah. So that's what makes the whole thing even funnier. Is you're never going to be one, right? You're already 25 years old. How many businesses do you own, douchebag? If you're afraid of the black man, that's quite obvious that you don't own any.
Sufficiently here, but what I'm basically attempting to convey is that I don't see, by putting an economic cap on, or an inheritance tax or whatever, I don't see how that is gonna. I see how that can only lead to reducing an incentive for...
There you go, reducing the incentive. So again, he thinks that the incentive carrots in our economy grow on a tree, or are actually created by rich people. It's not the workers who create them. The workers don't cure diseases. The workers don't make roads. The workers don't build internet infrastructure. The workers don't program. The workers don't make everything of value you ever fucking touch. No, it's the rich owners who make the value. And we need to give the owners 85% of the incentive carrots and give the workers 15% of the incentive carrots. That's the rational thing to do. Yeah, give the elitist owner rich perpetual carrots, 85% of the incentive carrots, to go sit on a beach, to buy another summer house so we can't afford one, right? I mean, we can't afford anything because they outbid us for everything because they have all the money, jackass. They have all the incentive carrots. We don't have no incentive carrots to play with. We have to eat ours. Yeah, we can't dangle them anywhere because we have to eat them. I mean, damn, you're so fucking stupid.
people to create companies that in its turn is going to create work.
Again, so create companies. So what? So only millionaires can create companies? Nobody with less than $1 million can create companies? Well, then don't you think that's a broken system right there? If that's your claim, that only millionaires can create companies, and now if you don't let that, well, the multi-millionaires, again, so what's your argument? You're saying that people aren't going to bother doing that. They're not going to bother creating a company for their own benefit, to have their own luxury. They're only going to do it for their kids. And that's in the world we exist in, where obviously every country has huge deficit spending, indicating that people don't give a rat's ass about their kids. So, and you got, all, assholes like you, chauvinists. You're probably a chauvinist too. Don't give a fuck about kids. Don't give a fuck about their welfare. And you're gonna sit there and talk to me about how much you whiteys love your kids. Why? Because they're the right color, and that's it. You'll show up to see that the right color baby pops out of her vagina, and that's the extent of your give a damn. You're such a liar.
Which is important for civilization. There are different kinds of people.
Yeah, so again, he says it's important for civilization. If we don't give 85% of the incentive carrots to the rich, we can't have a good world. If we gave those 85%, if we gave that ton and ton of incentive carrots, and we dangled it in front of workers, we wouldn't get any more work out of them. The value of that work would just absolutely suck. If we told them we can double your salary, just work another 15 minutes a day or something, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't create any value in the world at all. But if we gave it to those rich people, boy, man, would they sure fart it into gold. I mean, shit. You're just too stupid. Yeah, sorry, you're too stupid. You got broken. Your gear work is going. You're just not. You need some like 10W40 or something. You gotta grease that shit. Get it working. All right, because you can't figure out the obvious. Shit. I mean, have you ever met rich people? I mean, I live among them. All right? Dumb as a post. I might as well live in Arkansas. I live in one of the richest counties in the United States, and I might as well live in Arkansas. Because these people are so fucking stupid.